Our next speaker, Aka Rahman, is Senior Assistant Secretary at the Ministry of Education in the Republic of Kiribati. Aka has been able to observe firsthand the effects of climate change on her country.
Thank you, moderator. And I'd like to, first of all, thank World Vision for inviting me to speak here. And for all of you who are here this evening, thank you very much for coming along. It's a challenge when I was first invited to talk here because I wasn't really sure whether to be excited or sad about talking about an issue that really is close to my heart. But here I am, and I'm about to tell you a story of a journey of a Pacific Islander. What's happening on the ground in Kiribati will be the same with the other small island states of the Pacific. So, Kamna Maori, that's greetings in the Kiribati language. I also had trouble coming up with the title, but I decided, okay, it's about a wave climbing over the walls, climbing over my islands one day. So I ended up with this title to go with. Where is Kiribati? A lot of people don't know where that is. We're very unheard of, but we're at the front line when it comes to climate change. That's a little strip of island, the island capital of Tarawa. You can see how tiny we are. And the entire Kiribati zone on the right side. You can see the globe of the world with us up there. Although we're tiny, our entire island zone is as big as the US, and that's the ocean that surrounds us. Facts about Kiribati, that's our population, 90,000 something in the 2005 census. One of the challenges to our development is our population growth. We have, as you can see, 1.8% of growth annually. And the government is trying to deal with this problem by controlling birth, of course. But although significantly birth rate has declined, we're still the highest in the region, and we're still trying to solve this issue. The language is called Kiribati language, as the same as people. We're called the Kiribati people, and the official language is English. We're a republic type of government, and our economy is something that we're not very proud of because we have a GDP of below 700. That's one of the lowest in the world. But we have an EEZ, Exclusive Economic Zone, that we boast, or we're very proud of, because we look up to it as a source of livelihood, a source of economic income. Although behind it all, behind all the pride, there's that feeling that this ocean of wealth is also a monster to us. And that is what I'm going to focus my presentation on this evening, the human face of climate change. Kiribati gets a large portion of its income from abroad. So again, like I mentioned earlier, the EEZ generates $20 to $25 million annually through fishing licenses. We also depend highly on aid. So Australia, Japan, US, and Taiwan, some of our donors, major donors. And remittances also provide an enormous amount of money, $11 million annually, from seafarers working abroad and other people working outside of Kiribati, that is. What does climate change mean to us? I think this is a very important part of the presentation because a lot of people view climate change differently, and it varies how people look at it. But for us in the islands, it's not so much an economic issue. We agree it exacerbates our economic growth further, but it's more of an issue concerning our rights to a basic quality living, a happy quality life. I think that's what we're always advocating. Our leaders over the past years have always tried to remind people that, look, it may be considered an environmental and economic issue, but for us it concerns our very existence, our survival. The reaction in Kiribati about climate change, there was the usual science versus religion sort of argument, people who don't believe that it's happening, people who said, oh, because we're very religious people and we believe in God's rainbow promise, there'll never be another flood. but the truth is there, the evidence is there, and we're living with the realities of climate change every day, so we have no choice. Some other people say that, look, this is the Rainbow Promise is in fact a reality, but the rate of development that the world has gone by selfishly is the sin that we have to pay for. So this is how some people sort of concluded their theories about climate change, and they say to repent means to cut down emissions and to bring back the world to its rightful sustainable pace. Okay, I'm going to touch on some of the major effects that are impacting on our lives in the island. As you can see, water, to sustain life, water is the very most critical issue when it comes to climate change, because we can't stop sea level from entering our waterlands. And you can see we have problem with fresh drinking water that we need to access every day. It also exposes children to a lot of vulnerable problems, diseases, for unsafe drinking, and another issue that I sort of considered, because back home we children, our duties at home, our chore is to go collect water. So I can imagine in your quest for fresh water, you'll have to go right to the middle of the island to carry buckets and tons of water. So you can imagine what children would have to go to in their quest for fresh water. Plant life is like a waterlands, very much affected by sea level rise. Our basic food, we have very limited land resources, but we have coconuts and taro, what we call papai, and pandanus fruit as some of our major substitutes to the rice, flour, and sugar that we depend highly upon. We basically depend on imports, you know. When there's a delay in a cargo ship arriving, there's an outcry on the nation. Then we have sea warming temperatures affecting, of course, our economic base. This is our wealth, our ECZ, affected by the warming temperatures of the ocean. And then there's also the concern with tropical water-borne diseases.